Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Stefanie Drysdale's weekly cybersecurity recap number 29 for Friday, July 24th, 2020. Ms. Stefanie, welcome back and tell us what's going on in the cyber world.
Hi, Chuck. Nice to see you. So I'll just jump straight in. This week, we put out an article about the new nationwide suicide hotline. I won't go super deep into this. Obviously, it's a topic that could take its own, 10-minute stretch here. But 988 is going to be the new 911 for people who need help. They're going to have counselors on hand. It doesn't have to be adopted by all cell providers or all phone providers until 2 years from now. So there is still, you can call 1-800-273-TALK and then press 1 after dialing if you're a veteran, because obviously there are some specific needs there. Or you can text 838-255 for chat help. So really important. Make sure you share that. We want to keep everybody safe and protected. So good stuff on the horizon. The Fast Company, this article shared a study out of Michigan State University as well as California State University of Fullerton, said that the heaviest users of social media have personalities that enjoy angering and embarrassing others. That's really not a pleasant thing, but maybe it'll keep us all off social media a little bit more just to avoid being part of that group. So anyway, make sure that you're being extra sweet and extra yourself online. Hopefully those don't conflict. Michael Crane shared the newly revised Workplace Violence and Active Assailant Prevention, Intervention, and Response Standard released by ASIS. This is really important to help organizations set up the right policies and the procedures that they need, and training as well to understand how to teach employees how to recognize a potential situation that could escalate into a workplace violence scenario. So we definitely don't want that to happen. Similarly, Martin Nielsen shared an NBC New York story about the gruesome beheading of a New York City tech entrepreneur that was killed by his own personal assistant, who he had found that was stealing from him. This is the ultimate insider threat, but it does suggest some ways that we can look toward standards like the ASIS prevention to put in place procedures for people to prepare for any kind of termination or confrontation that may potentially escalate and require protection, or just prevent it and avoid it altogether. So make sure you catch those and that you guys are, looking for ways to make sure that those situations don't end up tragedies. So lots of talk this week that adds a lot of details to the Twitter hack. Bob Carver shared an article that exposed some dark web chatter leading up to the rogue tweets. And more information from a lot of people in my network talking about how this seems to be a social engineered situation. Either someone was tricked or people were bribed or selling inside details, potentially a combination of both. This really did kind of wreak some havoc that we're really not sure to what degree at this point. We talked last week a little bit about the direct messages being accessed, and they were. Twitter said that 36 were accessed. One of those was a government official from a foreign government, but still. So really, really important. This is a great time to have people look at processes and policies and see who has angel mode, who has God mode. Edward Omarosa wrote an article entitled "The Apology Letter That Jack Dorsey Should Send Out Today." It showed a lot of EQ and acknowledges the missteps that likely paved the way for this to happen and what needs to prevent it in the future. So really important for people to understand we don't have a precedent for a lot of these things. So a government official tweeting out something that's potentially inciting would definitely not be welcome. So those accounts have to be super secure. So definitely catch those. Scott Swanson shared a Wired.com article. It talked about how IBM researchers exposed Iranian spies hacking with video. Really, really rare to see this happen in live time. One key thing that I thought was important to note was that the researchers didn't see any evidence that they were able to bypass 2FA or two-factor authentication, When an account was secured with two-factor authentication, the hacker simply just moved on to the next one in their list. So this affirms what we always say, is that criminals overall are lazy, and it's because they can be. When there are a lot of easy targets, low-hanging fruit, soft targets, those are the easiest ones for them to maximize and to leverage. So if you're not one of those, it's more likely that they're going to move on to someone else. So please make sure that those are set up, that you have the multi-factor authentication enabled for your own accounts. Ray Feldman shared a bleeping computer article on how to protect your Verizon number from SIM swapping. Not identical, but similar to other providers. You can still learn a lot from the article. Be sure and call and put those protections in place for your own phones. Charles Durant shared a Reuters article showing how AI can create deep fakes. And in this particular case, it was to create a false persona to share disinformation and attack a couple with giving them very, very few ways to fight back. When you don't know who's sharing false information about you, it's really hard to respond in a way and get that person to engage. So it really highlighted the importance for news outlets and journalists to vet their sources, and for all of us to not believe everything that we read. Val Stoyanov shared a Wired.com article about how to know if you've been hacked and what to do about it. Really great tips here, but I'm going to always remind you that it's better to prevent this situation. Multi-factor authentication, password managers, strong passwords, and above all, don't click stuff and don't answer phone calls who ask for lots of private information from you. Let it go to voicemail, respond later. Just better to prevent than to fix. Our own Rob Piniella shared the AHLA, the American Hotel Lodging Association's new standard safety guidelines for hotel guests. Really important now that we're easing into, I hate saying it all the time, but our new normal, when we're traveling around, staying in hotels, to make sure that the hotels you're staying in are safe and that your safety is paramount to them and you know what to look for. So be sure to catch that. Our good friend Max Piaz shared an upcoming book release from Cindy Otis on July 28th called True or False. She shares some expertise on disinformation campaigns. Really, really looking forward to this, so make sure that you pre-order one of those and catch that. Mark Nielsen shared a really handy cheat sheet for job interviews this week. I know a lot of you are still looking. Make sure you get that and just refresh everything on there to make sure that you're putting the best foot forward in your interviews upcoming. MK Palmore shared some unique and lasting barriers for minorities in cybersecurity. Again, you can't fix what you don't see. And it's really important that we all open up the dialogue and fix what we can. There's plenty that we can improve upon, and we need to take steps to go forward. There are a lot of talents out there that we need. This is an industry that is constantly changing, constantly getting tougher. We need brains. We need lots of clever people, and they're going to come in all different shapes and sizes and colors. So let's pave the way and make sure that we're ready for them. So that's what I have for you all this week. I hope all is well and that you all aren't getting too sunburned, enjoying the summertime. Anyway, I look forward to speaking with you all next week.